Why are so many people signing up for these 2-day long intensive couples therapy sessions? For many people, it sounds like an absolute nightmare. Well, today I am sitting down with one of the best couples therapists I know, Michael Silverstein. Thank you so much for joining us today. And he's going to answer all the questions that you might have about what is intensive couples counseling. Okay, so let's dive in. You ready, honey?
I'm ready.
Why don't we go ahead and start off with just answering what is intensive couples therapy and how it's different from traditional weekly therapy?
Meeting for several hours a day for a bunch of days in a row instead of meeting hourly or for 80 minutes once a week.
So if somebody comes in at 9 o'clock on Monday, like what is their day going to look like? What are you going to do as you move things along?
Good question. So structurally, the first hour to an hour and a half, we'd be meeting with all three of us in the room. And I'd be getting a very thorough history of the relationship from the very first meeting to the present. And then having the couple have a fight in front of me, talking about an area of conflict in which I'd observe and take notes, but not intervene. Then I'd meet with each of the members of the couple individually to get their own relationship history, their family of origin, and do a mental health screening. Then I'd take a break while they have a brief lunch to prepare for a feedback session and provide my honest and clear opinion about where their relationship is, what the main problems, strengths, and challenges are. And we collaboratively make sure we're all seeing things the same way so we can set up an agenda and make sure we try to get done the work they want to get done during those 2 days. Then we start working together with the couple facing each other, talking to each other, and with very active intervention. Unlike more traditional couples therapy, I don't just sit back and let them talk. I really try to intervene and stop the conversation when it seems to be going off the rails. And I'll say, let's pause, rewind, and try it again this way.
It's interesting that you say that because I think a lot of people are afraid to come to couples therapy because they think they're just going to come and fight in front of their therapist, or maybe their therapist will sit there and watch them fight. And that's not what you would do, especially in a marathon, right? You're really kind of get down to business even quicker, I would imagine.
That's right. And that's a good point. A lot of the couples I see in general have tried other therapy and they complain that's what happened. They come in, they vent, and then nothing changes. I want to intervene as quickly as possible to break those habits, to stop the painful interactions. And that's why it's actually not as stressful as people think. When they get to the deeper stuff, it can be, but I'm really trying to make it not so painful to talk about things.
And how realistic is it? Like, what can people actually accomplish in just 2 or 3 days?
They can accomplish an enormous amount. If they're committed and they're really invested, they can learn the skills, they can learn how to talk to each other in a kind, considerate way so they each feel heard and understood by the other. I've seen many couples accomplish that just as a start, and then they have to figure out how to keep that momentum going when they get home.
Got it. I mean, so many people just want to feel heard. They just want to feel heard. And if you can walk away from an experience with a therapist for 2 days in a row and both people feel like they were heard and understood, that's a pretty big win.
Yeah. I know you like to say that's the secret sauce of this. There are lots of things they begin doing, but essentially the goal is for me to help make it a safe enough place so that people can learn how to talk in a way that makes them feel safe enough to be vulnerable enough to risk trying again, to communicate so they can be understood and heard and valued for their point of view.
Love that. Oh, I love the way that you're putting that. That's so nice. What's different about a Gottman intensive than maybe a different approach?
One we just spoke about is that very active, direct interaction, and that the couple talking to each other rather than to me about the other person. And the other is I want to bring your attention to the Sound Relationship House. That's basically the Gottman's theory and model in a nutshell. And it summarizes all those things that contribute to a happy, successful relationship. It includes these pillars of commitment and trust on the sides. And then down here are the things couples do when they're not in conflict that help with day-to-day intimacy, connection, and fun together. Then there's this area of here, which is around managing conflict, which might be some of these communication skills, how to talk to each other, how to avoid criticism and defensiveness. And during the feedback session is really look at these parts of the house and decide where to start, what makes the most sense to really try to get done and achieve the goals that the couples come in with that are reasonable to achieve in just 2 days.
So on one of those levels of that house might be a strength for them. And then you just say, keep up the good work on that. But then you say, okay, what's realistic of what we can do today and tomorrow for working on the challenging areas?
Exactly.
And why is it that you chose the Gottman method to use for these intensives?
One is, in general, it's research-based. There's only one or two other emotion-focused therapy by Sue Johnson. There's not a lot of research about couples, a lot about families. Mm-hmm. And I follow the research. That's how I'm trained. And it's also, we can get so much done by really practicing stopping the dysfunctional interactions, having time during the intensive to talk about the fun things, to express appreciation and gratitude to each other, to talk about things that are working, that we can build on, that are fun for them.
That's one of the things that had so much appeal to me as well, is that other models tend to be focused on the past. And sometimes we have to go to the past, right? If there's trauma and if there's understanding bad habits. But if we dwell in the past, it feels really frustrating. I love what you just said about like doing what works. I know you can't talk about specific couples, but just give us a sense of like, what have you noticed in terms of real results or not results, disaster scenarios that have happened in your office?
Great question. So let's look at that continuum. So some of the most successful and rewarding work I've done with couples, there's some real transformational experiences. They go from maybe really seriously considering divorce to feeling connected. I've seen couples hugging each other and tearfully expressing remorse and forgiving each other. And most important is raising hope.
Wow. So you've had couples come in basically thinking we're here to get divorced. It's kind of a Hail Mary pass. And then you've seen that exact same couple, like literally 48 hours later, like hugging and feeling hopeful.
Yes, it's hopeful. They realize that they might have connected in a way they haven't in years. And they're also aware there's a lot more to work on. But they're now optimistic. They're hopeful. They're committed to change instead of giving up.
I've never really heard you say it that way before. I know you do these deep, deep dives, but it sounds like the thing that they walk away with, in addition to the skills, obviously, but is hope.
Yes,
and a sense of like, okay, we have a roadmap and we can get from here to there, as opposed to just throwing spaghetti at the wall kind of thing.
Exactly.
Have you ever had a couple regret doing this?
Yes, I don't want to say exactly regret, but there's two kinds of outcomes that are regrettable in a way.
Okay.
One is a couple that's coming in to try to discern whether to stay in the relationship, whether it can work, and they've decided it can't. And this has helped them. This is their last-ditch effort, and they have learned that their differences are too great. Even if they can be kinder and talk about them, one or the other decides it's over. Yeah. It's sad, but they recognize it's better to separate and try to do that as consciously and caringly as possible rather than stay together and be miserable.
Yeah.
The other couples will come in and one or the other just really isn't able to use this approach, mainly because it's too difficult for them to, in a sense, own their part of the problem. For this to work, each member of the couple has to be able to acknowledge they have at least some contribution. Mm-hmm. And some are too hurt and too angry to work that way. And then I'm happy to refer them to therapists that work in a different model or a different style.
Yeah. I know sometimes when I'm on the phone with people, kind of helping them decide what makes sense for them, sometimes I mention these intensives and people are like, are you kidding me? I can't, I just can't imagine talking about my feelings for 2 days. And then other people are like, are you kidding? Like, sign me up tomorrow. And so do you think it makes sense for people to trust their gut with that as well?
Well, it's interesting you ask it that way, because I'm always a big believer in people trusting their gut, but sometimes their head gets in the way of their gut.
Really?
Yeah.
What is that like?
Yeah. Well, like if they imagine something is going to go poorly and that
Uh-huh.
makes them anxious and wanting to avoid that, they're not really trusting their gut. They're already kind of overruling their gut with their catastrophizing, fortune telling, making negative predictions. We have
Right.
all different names for it.
Right.
So I would say most couples find it's less strenuous than they realized. And at the same time, sometimes what we realize is one partner is, I could go all day, I don't want to break. The other partner is, well, we learn together, and that's part of what they need to understand about each other.
Yeah.
Maybe we work for an hour and then they need a break. So we work
Yeah.
that in, and they get used to maybe taking a 15-minute break. That partner goes for a walk, gets a snack, they take a little break, and then they come back ready to go.
And that's nice too. I remember there was a couple I was working with, and they went out to lunch, and they were like, "We want an hour and a half lunch break." And I was like, "Of course, if that's what you want, we'll figure out the timing accordingly." And they went to this nice, cute little restaurant, and the agreement was, we're not going to talk about the therapy on their lunch break. And they came back and they were really happy. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's great. I've done that too. This
yeah,
is their time.
yeah. I
I'm
love
there
that.
to facilitate and support what they want to accomplish, but they
Mhm.
get to let me know what's working, what's not working, so I can adjust accordingly.
Yeah,
So, half an hour break, an hour and a half, whatever they need,
yeah.
that's what we want to.
Right, which obviously you just can't do when you have a 50-minute session. You've paid for the time and you're gonna sit down and
Right.
work, even if you just feel like you need a little more space. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I imagine people that are watching this video are trying to decide, right? Is an
Right.
intensive a good fit for them, or if they should go the traditional route, whether it's worth flying to Philly for. What would you advise them to do to help make their decision?
Um, of course, talk with each other and see if they can come to an agreement.
It's not a surprise gift.
Right, right. Well, and I have couples who, when I consult with them, when they're calling to find out, and I consult with them, they're both on the phone together or on the screen together. They're having a conflict about whether to come in or not, and that's
Yeah,
okay.
that makes
Uh,
sense.
we offer free 15-minute consults in which we talk about and can describe and answer the questions about what we do and how that works, and answer their questions, either about us as therapists or the approach. And we can discuss. And part of what I do with intensivism is help them decide if
Mhm.
that makes sense for them. And I give my honest opinion. It may not be right for them depending on where they're
Yeah.
at.
And it's a big investment. What have you found in terms of people being able to get reimbursed from their insurance?
Typically, insurance will reimburse some of the cost, but usually not all of it. We don't accept insurance directly, but we submit the paperwork. And I always advise people to talk to their insurance company in advance and find out what they reimburse and what they cover.
Sounds good. So then what happens after the intensive? How do you make sure that they like keep up all this great work?
One of the things we reserve the time at the end of the intensive for, what's the next steps? And often we start traditional weekly couples therapy after that. Uh,
Mhm.
Sometimes they've made a lot of progress, and because of timing, they may return biweekly or a month later. I've even
Mhm.
had couples return once a year. We're kind of a tune-up for a
Great.
follow-up intensive.
So if they're local, they might switch to weekly traditional, and if they're out of town, they might fly in once a year and just keep up that progress. Is that right?
Correct. And I also do telehealth online.
Uh-huh. Great.
It's nice to be in person, but if you're out of state, I'm licensed in. I have reciprocal licensing in 36 states, I think.
Oh my gosh. Right, I
Yes.
forgot you were on SIPAC.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you can follow up from doing the intensive.
absolutely. And I have plenty of clients online as well.
Do you ever do the intensive on telehealth?
So no, I haven't seen any research about that, and I follow the research, but I just think for something that long and that much, it's really good to be in the room together. There's a lot of nonverbal communication. There's lots of connection that happens, not just the couple, but with me and the couple. And I just think being together in one room just makes it feel safer and more
Sure.
focused.
Is there anybody that shouldn't do an intensive? What are the red flags?
So, two red flags, both for intensives and for the Gottman method and approach, is an ongoing affair, where there's continued contact with the affair partner, or ongoing domestic violence, where there's continued violence or intimidation. Just
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
work. Obviously, it has to be safe and committed
Right.
to the
And
work
so you're
together.
saying that if somebody is having an affair and hasn't disclosed that to their partner, couples therapy is not indicated as well.
That's correct.
Right.
That's correct. And it can be effective if one partner is not sure if they want to stay in the marriage, but the affair is still over. They're still
Okay.
committed to working on the marriage.
Got it. Got it. Well, Michael, thank you so much. Thanks for sharing your wisdom. Thanks for joining this kind of, conversation on YouTube. I really appreciate it. I personally learned a lot. Michael is currently offering these intensives at our office here in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, which is right outside of Philadelphia. He does them on Mondays and Tuesdays. All day Monday, all day Tuesday. And we have another brilliant couples therapist. Her name is Teresa Thompson. She's also level 3 Gottman trained, and she does them over the weekend. And just to finish up, what is the main, why do you love doing these so much?
It's just nice to be able to see the change over that 2 days and to be a part of that and really be able to connect.
Well, they're lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you.
So if you and your partner can find a way to come to Philadelphia, we would love to help you out. You can go ahead and schedule a consult. And thank you so much for watching this video. Go ahead and type in any questions that you have at all, and we will go ahead and answer them in the comments section. Okay, thanks for watching the video. Michael, thanks for doing this with me.
Thank you. It was fun. Bye-bye.